Welcome to Ketchikan, Bahamas. So,
You keep making this joke. Wasn't that funny the first time.
yes, it is. Okay.
Is
Welcome.
it?
Yes.
Let's tell us in the comments. Every single video, he pretends we're somewhere else.
Welcome to Ketchikan, Alaska. It is fairly nice outside. It's almost 60 degrees. Compared to yesterday, it was rainy. But today it's pretty nice. So I have like my sweater hoodie on today. So
Where'd you get that sweatshirt, Adam?
we made our sweatshirts. As you can see, it's our stuff. So it's pretty nice, warm, and it's good.
I just wanted to see if I could make t-shirts, and so I did. That's really all that happened. We're not selling anything.
But
Came out pretty well
Pretty
for
good.
my first attempt at making a thing. We figured why not, we're in the on the cruise and be those dorks and matching t-shirts. It's been interesting though. We've had more attention on the blog this trip than any other.
yeah,
And I don't know whether it was because people were looking for room tours and found our Magic series. This is what I'm guessing, is that people recognized us from the Magic series because we did the room tours. We did two
Right.
room tours on the Magic.
yeah.
And so that's twice as many eyes on them. We definitely had like people recognize us, or
Like Aaron,
like Aaron and
David, yeah.
and their kids. They're fantastic. And
Yeah. Seen him a couple.
there was another guy on the elevator. He's like, I know you guys. Like, he's like, I'm trying to be cool, but I know you guys from the internet. I was like, oh, all right, thanks. We've had people asking about the channel. Like we had,
Right.
so we had Imaginary Lemons put on some of the shirts we had for day one, and we had a lot of people asking, like, well, what is that?
Right.
And so then we would tell them about it. And then they were like, I would see folks around the thing, and they're like, oh, so tell me more about
Right.
So it's been interesting.
Interesting, yes.
Yeah, and very fun, right? Like it's awesome to know that people are using our videos as we had hoped to be able to plan their own trips, right?
Yeah, that's why we do it, because we want people to get out there and keep exploring. It's fun. Getting out and doing things is fun. You shouldn't be stuck at home or just like, it's fun. So, yeah.
But anyway, getting back to Ketchikan. So the Ketchikan day starts late. They actually did dock a little early, or did let people off earlier than they said they were going to.
Yeah.
So 11:15 was the projected time. They actually ended up letting people off by 10:45.
Yeah.
But they really don't want you gathering at the gangway. It's just it's too many people. They said, and it makes sense, like when you go to a later port, when you arrive later at a port, everybody's already had their breakfast, everybody's already done their things, and so they're like itching to go out, and it causes chaos for them. So, hang out, do what you gotta do, then get off the ship.
We are in Ketchikan. I think it's cool outside at 54 degrees. Hopefully, rain will hold off until after we leave. But we're in Alaska, so other than the rainforest, they get the most rain everywhere.
So this morning we are having a leisurely breakfast here in Cabanas. Because of my allergies, I was able to speak to one of the allergy specialists, and they brought me my food, making sure that it was safe for me. And so I got steak and eggs and potatoes, and I'm excited to try this out. Adam is off finding his meal right now.
One thing that's good about coming to the buffet is that crew members are more than willing to help you, because some of the things are out of reach for most of us. So don't be afraid to ask. They will go ahead and help you pick something out and encourage you to take it food. Custom on the orders are another thing that we like to do. They do not have any regular sausage, so I got a plant-based patty. It looks like a burger, almost, really. So this is going to be my breakfast for this morning, plus some coffee, which is getting down to the dregs. So we can just order some more of that. So today, we're basically going to just explore Ketchikan itself. The cruise director did mention something about they had a landslide a couple weeks ago. And so they basically said they tell people don't go in that area because the locals need to repair it. Don't go in and just like take photos and stuff like that. Just stay away for now. And so
And you can kind of see it from the ship. I'm pretty sure that's it back there. So, there was a better view of it coming in. It's like, I know people want to see it. You can actually see it as the boat's pulling in. Please don't go over there. Also, so there's a free shuttle that does a loop in downtown.
Yes.
And then there's also the paid buses that go a little further out to places like Walmart, which I think we're going to try to do just to have done it.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, we need some stuff. This cruise ship pull method isn't doing
They
it.
cut it. We need something more.
And you don't get the good stuff. I'm hoping I can get something a little better at the Walmart. We're going to head out over there because we still have like 6 hours in
Yeah.
so we're going to explore a little bit.
Time to try and get back.
The buses, I've read, are fully accessible. At least that's what they say. So we're going to go check that out. These are like the public buses. Also, interestingly, I didn't tell you this, because of the landslide and the need to keep people off certain major roads, all the buses are free right now. So now that being said, the normal price is $2. And so I am going to go get some like, well, and you have to have it. You either have to have exact change or you have to use an app to pay. So I am going to get some change just in case it's an older post or whatever they've updated or something. But it was on their Facebook page. I'd like to see either the Totem Park or the Totem Museum. One of those. There's actually there's 2 Totem Parks and 1 Totem Museum.
Okay.
Not very far from here. And so I want to see one of those. I don't want to see all 3. And then, because I'd like to learn a little bit about the totems. And I'd like to see Creek Street. You know, it's famous or infamous, depending on how you look at it. And, you know, it's got the very storied past. And also, that's where there's a salmon running there. Now, we're like at the end of the salmon spawning season. But we did see some salmon, you know, yesterday. So we might see some today, and if not, we saw them yesterday.
Yeah.
There's also a hatchery over there somewhere, and then there's the canning. Ketchikan is a fishing town. They also do a lot of logging. That's why they have that like Great American, logging something tour. Basically, it's like the lumberjack tour. They have a lumberjack show. Great American Lumberjack Show. And there's a special one that has Disney participation. Got kiddos. Like one of that one specifically. I don't know if we're gonna do the Lumberjack Show, mostly because I'm not feeling the best. And so, you know, we'll see. I don't know if I want to like pay $50 to sit in a feature and watch cut wood. Like, I'm sure it's a lot of fun. You're hyper and feeling, but like right now, I'm struggling.
Yeah, we're gonna try to get some medicine, help recover, and see what we can see in Ketchikan. So yeah.
Comment down below if you have a favorite cruise sickness remedy. You know, like what do you do when you get sick on a cruise on vacation? Like how do you snap back? Like because I need a bag of tricks. You know what I mean? Like obviously by the time y'all see this, I will be back home. But for our next cruise, you know, I would love to know like next time this happens because like. I don't know. I feel like I get sick like every other
seltzer or like Ease or whatever it's called, Cold Easy, something. Yeah,
I want to see if I can find some of that like shorts and cold stuff. Ketchikan's behind us. It looks a little more developed than some of the other port stream stuff. Like I mean, definitely more developed than Icy Strait.
Yeah.
Juneau, I don't know. Juneau was like foggy and rainy and I was very much in a fog, so like I really can't. I don't know what Juneau looks like. I'll have to review footage. The houses here definitely seem a little more advanced, so yeah, it seems like a little different vibe here. So we're gonna go explore and take you along with us when it makes sense. Okay. Time to
Disney Wonder, there we are. In the city of Ketchikan, Alaska.
Interesting fact about Ketchikan. It is a port that is highly subject to tides. And so what they do is right now, they are loading on deck 3. At some point today, because the water is going to rise, they will load on deck 1, which is way down here. And so they will stop this gangway and reset the gangway to be on deck 1. So by the end of the day, people will get on and off at deck 1. Beginning of the day, deck 3. That's how much the ship moves. Because you can see right now, deck 1 is it's this right here, right? So like this is not even anywhere close to being accessible by this port. And then it'll be high enough that it can be. So it's pretty wild to me.
The visitor center has money bathrooms and accessible bathrooms. And which port would be complete without a Diamonds International?
Okay, so we're at 137
First stop 137.
Okay, which is J. We want to go to Walmart Shoreline. Okay, so we can get the green line.
So we just got on the Green Line bus. We are headed to the local Walmart as we're trying to get a couple stuff, unfortunately, food, medicine, and such like that. Getting on the bus is fairly easy and simple here, Ketchikan. So now we're going to take a bus ride.
We made it to Walmart.
It was about a 20-minute or so ride where we got on. We headed to the guys, I guess, shift change. So it took just like this parking lot and basically the bus drivers changed. And so after that, we drove around the city, up some steep hills and down some steep hills. But overall, it was a pretty up-to-date ride. But yeah, so now we are at the Walmart, or Walmart, not the Walmart, but at Walmart. And so you see like the mountains around us. Parking lot looks fairly small for a Walmart parking lot, but hey, we're in Ketchikan, so it is obviously different. We're gonna head inside right now and do what we need to do, and then we will head back to the ship. Right, so we are back on the bus. We're at Walmart right now. I'm trying to find cold remedy and stuff like that. Got a couple of stuff. And now we are on the bus heading back. If you decide to try to come out to Walmart, just be aware there's an hour time between the stops. So just keep that in mind that if you have to be back on the ship at a certain time, you want at least an hour and a half lead time to accommodate different stuff. So right now we're going to head back downtown. So we just got off the bus from Walmart and the bus driver let us off, and now we are headed to Creek Street to check out that area. Yeah, should be pretty fun. So the driver said Creek Street is back that way, so behind the totem pole. That's pretty cool. See if we can find where to cross, but I guess it's back this way. Alrighty, so we're at the salmon run. Maybe a giant salmon right there. Huh. Check that out. I guess Disney was not interested in sponsoring this. Hopefully, once we play this back, you'll catch something, because where I have to stick the camera is different than my eyesight or eye line.
You can start to see salmon swimming upstream, struggling. It is at the end of their lives after all. Fish are just waiting, like lined up for their turn to go up the thing. Creek Street, as well as the Salmon Run area that is next to it, is a series of boardwalks. And as you can see here, to get up the Salmon Run on Creek Street, there's a series of stairs. However, we found here that there is an accessible path that's noted in blue here. So the red, where that little man's standing, that is where those other stairs are, but you can take the blue path if you're on wheels.
We are looking for the accessible part of the salmon walk. And so that's where we are headed right now. It is just, I guess we walked past the museum, Tongass Museum, I believe it was called. And now we are headed towards, I guess, the accessible part of the salmon walk. Be aware that these streets are a little bit rough. I don't trust a house with too many gnomes. A lot of gnomes right there. As we continue down this street, there's a fish ladder, creek viewpoints, but it says the salmon walk is straight ahead. I don't really see anything straight ahead, but we'll see in a moment. It's like the houses are built right above the rock on, like, I guess, platforms? I don't know. Looks official though.
Once you get to the top, there's a nice flat viewing area, and you are essentially on the south side of the river, whereas the people who went up the stairs are on the north side. And you can go across and see them on the other side too. But it's really gorgeous up here. And here's Adam going over to the other side.
It is very bumpy.
But it was very accessible.
I don't know why he's over there.
I'm not sure how I feel about this, but my husband just ditched me to go check out Creek Street. Apparently I was taking too long reading the posters. So apparently this way is Married Man's Trail. They would go back here because they were shy. Let's just say that. Oh, so we passed the Star Gallery on the front. There is actually an accessible entrance on the back, so that's good to know. No, honestly, my husband was probably looking for salmon jerky. But still, it's funny. Bear danger. Got it. I'm gonna stay over here. A lot of dead salmon down there. As well as alive, but not dead salmon. A lot of wood carvings. I don't know that these would be considered totems, but they're very cute. I don't think they would be. I think they're just wood carvings. Because the totems are raised and these are not on the ground. After we walked around for a bit, we realized that it was approaching all aboard time, so we headed back to the ship. Adam stuck around to see if there were any pier runners, which there kind of were. And then he caught this cool footage of how they close these big doors. So I thought I would leave this in for those that are curious about how this happens, because I didn't realize how much it would be robots and automations and things. I just kind of imagined them pushing this big door, but there's actually a lot of pieces to it.
The following day.
Ketchikan, Ketchikan. I don't know which one. So with Ketchikan, we decided to keep a slow day, a chill day, because fortunately Brooke was just
at the height of the cold.
Sickness, cold. It's like caught something, and it's like either when we go on vacation or something, either I get sick or Brooke gets sick. It's like one or the others, and most likely what will happen is when we get back home, I'll get sick. I'll catch up with something.
Yep.
But I digress. We decided to keep it a chill day here at Ketchikan, and we decided, all right, took the bus to Walmart.
Now apparently there's a shuttle to Walmart, but I didn't know that, and so we took the bus. The bus is $2 per person each way, normally. We rode for free because there was recently a landslide in Ketchikan, and the city wants to keep as many people off the road as possible because it impacted one of their major roads, and so they made all the buses free. So we got to ride the bus for free, and we got to see a little bit of Ketchikan as we were. It wasn't a tour, but we were we have eyes, we could see things.
Not the river, but the lake is to the side of the road.
Yeah, so we went along the road that goes around the ocean.
So the bus basically drove along the side of the road and saw the lake onto the side of the road.
Ocean.
Ocean. Okay, so ocean, not a lake, so ocean. The views are pretty great. It was pretty nice, great views of that as you head to Walmart. The Walmarts were a little small, but I guess considered as theirs, it's like a nice size.
I mean, it felt like a Walmart. It was smaller than Walmart's back home, but it was fully a Walmart.
We got all the medical stuff we needed.
Cold beds, just like what I was able to get on the ship just was not cutting it. So I'm feeling a lot better, and it's because I was able to get better stuff in Ketchikan. So that was helpful. And so we got our things from Walmart, and then we came back and we went to go see Creek Street. And first we went to the salmon ladder. So the salmon ladder is where the salmon swim upstream.
Natural salmon ladder, yeah.
Yes, to lay their eggs. If you saw, we explained the life cycle of salmon in our last video, but essentially the salmon, as the end of their life cycle, they lay their eggs or sperm, whatever, and then their life cycle is complete. They work. They worked harder at getting on the other side of that thing than I've ever worked at anything on my life.
Especially if you look at a creek or like the way the water's rushing, and you see the salmon jump in and trying.
Yeah, like it's hardcore.
Those guys are struggling. They're struggling to go up that thing. And you be like, wow, they're really taking their time to get to the spot to see at the top of Creek Street. You have to go a little bit around the way.
Yeah, so the typical, the signage is going to point you to a path leaving from Creek Street, and it's these wood panels, and there are steps involved. Not helpful. However, some of the signs, like, so those are the signs above, right? But then there were signs that were on the ground, and we'll put a picture of one that showed an accessible path. And basically we had to like go around the neighborhood a little bit, and it wasn't far. It was a little uphill, but it wasn't far. And so we went around the thing, and at first we're like, is this where we're supposed to be? Very, like, you're very in the neighborhood, like, you know, this is where people live. And then you keep going, and then you reach the top of the salmon ladder, the same place that everybody else is taking these wood paths to get to. So like when you look at people's videos, you're going to see all those wood paths and things. You're going a different path. You're going to get to the same place. It's fine. So and then there is like a wood deck area that's flat that you can go out and look at it on. And so we didn't miss anything. We just had a less, you know,
strenuous.
Well, I mean, stairs, sure, but we had a less aesthetic path, right? Whereas like, because they're like river on one side, trees on the other, all these wood planks and things, like it's very pretty, you know. We went through the neighborhood, but it was fine. And so you can see the salmon in line waiting to go up this thing, like thousands.
Big pool, you see like the big pool,
thousands of salmon.
Like you look in the water, you can just take a net and scoop them out like that.
Yeah. I mean, people, like, there was a dude fishing, right?
Yeah.
Like if you want an easy catch, you come here.
Just throw your line in the water.
Right? Like, scoop.
I think I got a video of him. I think I got a video of the guy.
So, same with the hatchery yesterday, right? There were people, like, just fishing right there, because why not? Like, it's real easy. Especially if you wanted, like, salmon egg, right? Because you want the salmon while they're full of eggs, like, that's the place to go. Like the salmon caviar, that's what I was trying to say. So you can see the salmon, and it's just really cool to see, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
And then if you go across the street, you do see the sort of the end location where they are, you know, laying their eggs and expiring. So you can see that on the other side. There's also there's you know, thousands, I mean, maybe millions. Like, there's just so many salmon. Like, it's wild to me. There are bears that hang around there. There was a bear there the day that we were there. We didn't see the bear, but the bear was there. And not this kind of bear. So there was a bear, black bear, and he was, you know, hunting, because of course he was. There's seals. There's just, like, there's all kinds of, because, like, it's easy pickings. Like, they're just everywhere. So there was a bunch of seal pups and things like that. And so so those were cool to see, and they're like having their dinner, you know. So yeah, lots of salmon, and just very cool to see. And then we went to Creek Street, which, you know, has a very storied history. Women were there to earn money off of the desires of the men who were there for fishing.
Yes.
That's what they did.
There's a lot of cool shops there also. Some like what about like a wooden salmon type, I forgot what it is. Art, things like that. There's one shop there that sells fresh seafood, which should directly to your house same day or whatever, because the guy was in the back like taping up boxes and throwing dry ice in there and stuff. There was a shop that sold salmon candy. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in. It had a lip about
that might have been saving you from salmon candy. Ew.
Salmon candy, you guys would try salmon candy, wouldn't you? I believe that people out there would try salmon candy.
Let us know.
Okay.
Are you pro or con salmon candy?
Yes. So
the stores were, I would say, like half and half were accessible, and half were maybe a little more than half were accessible. But the stores also have the same thing over and over and over again. So odds are you're not missing all that much. I, you know, kind of protested and tried to avoid stores that Adam couldn't go into. There was one native store that I decided to give a pass and Adam told me to go in, but I wasn't taking anything they had, so it was weird. So I was like, I'm not feeling this. Goodbye. And so
Creek Street is fun. It was like it's fun. They have a lot of signage talking about the life cycles between like the silver and the pink, the king. It gives you this thing of the history of the salmon and the life cycle also, not like a hatchery, but life cycle, like what happens and what they go through. So it's fascinating, and you can see I don't know if the Disney boat park's in the same spot or if just we happen to be in that spot. But we have
my favorite photo where I have the House of Ill Repute on one side and the Disney Cruise Line ship on another, and I just think it's so funny that they're in the same picture. Like, oh, just cracks me up.
But yeah, it's not that far from the cruise ship. You can actually, cruise ship is like fairly close, walkable. And so after we left Creek Street, we walked down some more, walked down to Mill Street, had the like just different shops and stuff, like different stuff, eateries and things like that. It's like a little downtown area. It's pretty calm and quiet there. So yeah, Ketchikan.
Yeah. So Ketchikan is cute. It, like I said, it's very easy to walk around port. You don't necessarily need to have. There are formal excursions. You know, it's a late port. You don't get there until like 11, and then
leave at 6:45.
You leave it. Yeah. So it's a later, and a lot of the stores starts closing around 5 or 6, and so there were a lot of things that we were also there on a Sunday, and there was a lot of things that Saturday. We're there on a Saturday, and a lot of things were closed. So so there's that. But it was I mean, it was nice. It was, and having so many active days from the Glacier, then Ice Street and Juneau. It was nice to have just sort of a chill port, and so that was that, right? But it's definitely worth going out and seeing. We did not get to the Totem Museum. That was one that I had wanted to do, but we just sort of ran out of time and energy because, again, I was still sick, right? And it's a good port. I like it. It was easy to get around. I mean, other than those couple of, and the reason that some of the stores are not accessible is because we're talking about buildings from pre-World War to pre-World War. Like, these are really old buildings that have been preserved, and so that's why some of them don't have ramps.
Rough.
Like, yeah, and I mean, these are the original houses that the women were in and making their money, and they turned them into stores and things like that. But that's why the accessibility isn't the best on Creek Street, but a lot of them, you can look around and stuff. There's just a couple that, don't have a ramp. There was one that looked like it didn't have a ramp, but then around the backside. So it's also worth asking, right? Like, if you really wanted to go into one, say hey, there were a lot of salmon things to buy, canned salmon, hot sauces, things like that. So if you really wanted, we do like salmon, so we did get a lot of things, but there's definitely a lot of salmon to be had. They have some salmon that I've never heard of before. There's some types of salmon that are different, and so we got a little sample pack to try, and they they vacuum seal them in a way that they're shelf stable. I don't fully understand that, but apparently it's a thing. And sorry, there's a squeaking.
Probably trying to have more ducks.
Oh, okay. Or maybe they're just playing with the duck.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry, that was weird because it was like a dog toy, it squeaked like that. And I was just like, what's happening? But anyway, Ketchikan's a good port, so we enjoyed it, and it's a lot of things you can do that are accessible. There's also a museum, there's a Tongass Museum, there's definitely a nice amount of things that you can do that are accessible there. So we hope that you enjoyed our review of these ports. If you have any questions about Ketchikan and accessibility, or what we chose to do and didn't do, please feel free to leave us a comment. And until next time,
stay strong,
get creative,
and keep exploring.
We'll see you in the next video.